All right, welcome back. This is part two. We'll be removing the wheel assembly, the axles, and the starter, and another bolt. So, yeah, this project took about a year and a half for me to do. So there you go. Take off those bolts, and then you take off the spindle. And then, I have the starter off. I jumped quite ahead. Okay, to get that wheel hub assembly off right there, notice I have the puller there, the wheel hub puller. There's 3 bolts on the bottom. You got to take out those 3 bolts, and then there's 2 sensors. There's a speed sensor, and there is also a brake sensor. And once you have those things undone, you can kind of see the sensor on that side. It'll pull out. I'm not even sure if you need the wheel hub remover. You probably could pull it out without it, but you need like a mallet. But yeah, those 3 bolts, it comes right off. Anyways, before you do that, you're gonna want to crack your the nuts on the axle right there. You need a triple square, which I'll show. I think I see it says an 8, but anyways, it's a triple square. There's 12, I believe there's 12 little ridges on there. Fits perfectly into those axle nuts, and they kind of come off in pairs. Anyways, came off real easy. Let it sit for about a year and a half. Put it right back on, and it's working okay, but I have not replaced any of those. Okay, there's the wheel hub puller that I bought. Ultimately, I did have to use like a circular file to widen the holes so that the bolts would fit in. But it was a useful tool. At that point, I had never pulled off a wheel hub assembly ever, so it helped me out a lot getting it off. And I have the tool now, so yeah, it just bolts. You use your the nuts from your car to it kind of bolts right back on. Yeah, the toughest thing about getting your axle off is having someone in the car to brake so that you can undo the nuts. If I did it again, I would probably start this project by undoing the nuts on those axles so that when I get to the axles, I can just unscrew them and not have to worry about someone in the car. To do that, I would just raise one side of the car and then go underneath and just get them loose. Not take them off, just get them loose so they easily come off. So the next thing that I did was I removed. What I'm trying to show is I think it's a line there. I think it's a gas line, a fuel line, and it wraps around, snakes around, or who knows? Maybe it's some other line. But anyways, I took off a bolt there, and I took off another bolt. And actually, that's kind of good to show those 2 things, because when you're actually taking the transmission off, it was really hard to clear that line. That line gets hung up and gets in the way, but you don't want to take it off because you'd have probably gas flying everywhere, or diesel. So anyways, you gotta kind of pull it up out of the way. The next thing I'm going to show you is the starter. There's 2 bolts on the starter, and I had to see that that extension pull. I had to use that to get to the starter, and I went in through where the wheel's at, so that I hit right on that bolt, which is kind of like that angle right there. Anyways, I held up the starter. I just held it up that way. I couldn't figure out how to take off the there's like a bunch of cables connected to it, and I I didn't want to break it, so I just left it up there, which might be part of the reason why I have electrical problems right now. I might have one of those cables just sitting in a weird position, may have broken or something. Nonetheless, here's one of those bolts has an extra bolt on the end, and there is like, I want to say like a ground cable from the starter that connects to it. All right, well, thank you for watching our video today. If you would like to continue listening to this conversation, please visit our podcast, Looking for Something.
But is emperor in his own right. If the imagination intoxicates the poet, it is not inactive in other man. The metamorphosis excites in the beholder an emotion of joy. Criticism is infested with